The MMS just released this deep water report here at the Offshore Technology Conference. Can you kind of sum up some of the salient points from the report?
Well, the report really goes into the importance of the deep water Gulf of Mexico. What we're seeing is that production is increasing from the deep water. Now, the deep water accounts for 72% of the oil that comes out of the Gulf of Mexico and about 38% of the gas that comes out of the Gulf of Mexico.
And you mentioned earlier the total production from the Gulf of Mexico. Can you kind of give us what those figures were for oil and gas daily production?
Oil production is about 1.3 million barrels of oil per day, and the gas is about 7.7 billion cubic feet of gas per day.
And as far as the number of wells being drilled, the exploratory activity going on, and which ultimately leads to field development, have you been satisfied with the industry response? Could industry move faster, and do you expect that it would?
Well, right now, I think the resources are somewhat limited, especially when you're talking about deep water drilling activity. We did see a record in water depths greater than 7,500 feet last year, where we had 15 rigs working in that water depth. So that is an improvement. We also have the natural cycle from exploratory drilling to development drilling. And then probably more important than all that is that we'll have 12 to 13 new build rigs for water depths greater than 12,000 feet, can drill to 40,000 foot total depth. Those should be coming to the Gulf in the next 2 to 3 years.
There are still, I believe Director Luthi mentioned that there are still some permits that need to be approved before it can actually come on stream. Can you clarify that?
Right. For the Petrobras Cascade Chinook project, the first FPSO for the Gulf of Mexico, last week we just approved what we call our development operations coordination document. That is one of the first steps in a company gaining approval for a development scenario in the Gulf. They will still have to get a deep water operating plan approved, and then the final permits associated with the production safety systems for the FPSO.
And if Cascade Chinook comes online more or less on schedule and is deemed a success, do you expect then that other operators would be encouraged to file similar development plans?
We're aware of other operators having similar interest to Petrobras in utilizing FPSOs in the Gulf of Mexico. More than likely this would be in the lower tertiary trend where we see a lot of exploratory wells being drilled at this time.
Upstream reported that BP is pondering an early well test of its Casquita discovery. Has this been approved by the MMS yet, and do you expect that other operators, because of the huge capital expense it takes to develop these projects, you think early well test or pilot systems might be gaining traction in the Gulf?
Certainly in the lower tertiary trend where a Casquita project is being developed, that is a relatively unknown region in the Gulf of Mexico. Not a lot known about the rock properties or reservoir performance. So that is a likely step to go forward with as far as early well testing before the capital expenditure takes place.